Hi guys. Yes, so this is UMP Challenge 3. So this is Danny's new challenge on Underground Music Production Group on Facebook, and the idea of this challenge is he's provided an audio file, which is a sample of him just speaking, and then the idea is you have to make a track idea, no synths, no third-party plugins, only the tools in your DAW, and it's quite a tricky one actually. And just scrolling down, I noticed that Danny himself is finding it hard, which is quite amusing. But I've been working on this for a couple of hours now, and just progressing through it. Really, it's quite tricky. This is the sample that Danny's provided.
Underground Music Production Group, UMPG. Underground Music Production Group, UMPG.
Okay, so obviously the trick is to find, to find the areas of that sample that are good for, your different track elements. So let me just mute all of those. I'm just going to play my kick, and I think this is still MIDI. Yeah, it's still MIDI. So it's that section of the waveform there, and obviously what I've done is I've got it just on the rise there for that little click, for the little sort of the attack of the kick. I'm not the world's best at EQing, I must admit, but I've shelved it quite heavily there, and then I've boosted it, cut out all of this sort of mid-range stuff to take away the hump, I guess, the clicky stuff, and then boosted up there. I'm not, I'll probably play around with it. I've also got on here. I've been looking in Ableton, and I found in racks and audio effects, I found an analog tape channel strip, which is like a compression and a saturator. So that's the kick, and then I've got a kind of hat, which again I think is actually it's audio, so I've bounced that down, and just messing around with the EQing. Obviously if I take that off, you'll hear there's a lot more kind of energy in that, but I just wanted it subtle, maybe about there, I don't know. It's early days. And then I've got a snare sound. Let's just take those off a minute, which is still MIDI, so it's got a little gap there before the sample starts, but it's just the way it works out. It's just kind of working that way. A little bit of a shelf there again, and a little bit of a boost. Some reverb on the send, which is quite nice. And then the bass line I've got. This has been really difficult getting a bass line out of this material. But what I've ended up doing is using the fade in and the fade out, which kind of changed the attack and the decay. So I'm getting the almost the middle of that bit of the waveform there, which works quite nicely. And then on here I've got a bit of erosion. I've got some very, very light amount of reverb, and what else? And some compression. Can you hear that? I mean, that really smooths that out. I really like the synth kind of line I've got going on, which I've ended up using a resonator, and got various other things going on here, but the resonator I ended up going into the clip envelope and using some automation on the resonator note. Now, originally I tried recording this in by hand and recording it into audio, but it was a nightmare. I just couldn't get it right. So this way, it's just kind of giving it a bit of a melody, which works quite nicely. Here I've got sliced Vox, And what was I going to do here? I was going to drop this in and out, that kind of thing. And in audio effects, maybe, where is it? Instruments? No. I can't remember where I found it. But anyway, there's a DJ effect here called Fade to Grey, which does the classic kind of catch the transients. That kind of thing. So I play around with that. And here I've got a part of the sample with Danny just saying music. Filter that in and out. Music. Classic kind of DJ Pierre style. Bit of phaser on it. What else? Reverb with a dry chain. Ping pong. And here we've got like resampled several times. Resampled this to get a kind of pad element going. Again, I think I did something with the clip envelope. What did I do? Yeah, so transposed it to create some melodic changes. So -2 semitones, +2 semitones, just to match the synth line and the bass line. And here we have like a pad texture, which is just really sort of just, I don't know, just something to add something in the background. I might kind of filter the frequency in and out, something like that. But yeah, it's been tricky, but it's getting there. Let's give you a taste of everything together. Little variation on the Vox here as well. Anyway, we'll see how we get on. Thanks for watching. Cheers.